see if this goes to the right place. Well, well, well. Good evening and welcome, or afternoon or morning if you're watching this at any other point, but welcome to this, My Political Compass Test Live. Now, let me do a bit of brief explanation, and that is this. That is that I've been thinking and pondering lately, and I thought, shall I do this as a video or shall I do it as a live stream so that some of us can find out together? And for some, this will be a VOD, a video on demand. You are watching it back now. And for others who will join me as this live stream begins, we will discover this together, because the dynamics of how this show, this channel, me and John especially work is that he is right of centre traditionally and I am left of centre traditionally. And therefore, the dynamic, we don't always agree on everything, and that's always good. I think a good, 1-2 of words, obviously, is good fun. And people can have a debate, we can certainly have a debate, and we can have a fierce debate as well and still be friends at the end. However, I'm increasingly wondering if I am actually sitting on that left of centre spectrum anymore, because what is considered to be left wing has changed beyond what I could possibly even see. It is quite shocking, quite shameful, and I want to know, is it me that has changed? Am I no longer a left-wing libertarian? Or is the idea of what a left-wing libertarian should be changed in the political zeitgeist, in the mainstream? So, I don't know about you guys, but I still, as Robin in my chat says right now, still see myself as a classical liberal / left-wing libertarian. But I think there's only one way to find out, folks, and that is to take the political compass test and see where we land up. So, without further ado, I've already got it ready. Look at that. Look at that. So, before taking the test, please note this isn't a survey and these aren't questions. They're propositions. To question the logic of individual ones that irritate you is to miss the point. Some propositions are extreme and some are moderate. That's how we can show you whether you lean towards extremism or moderation on the compass. Your responses should not be overthought. Some of them are intentionally vague. Their purpose is to trigger reactions in the mind, measuring feelings and prejudices rather than detailed opinions on policy. So let's just go for it. Page 1 of 6 pages of this. Just a few propositions to start with, concerning no less how you see the country and the world. So I will answer these honestly and we'll see where we end up. We'll go through them together because that's why we're here. So, if economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. Yeah, I'd certainly agree with that. Transnational corporations have always got to make a profit. Let's face it, I'm not a commie. Next one. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. No. I mean, anybody that knows me and knows this channel knows that that's absolutely not the case. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Once again, I disagree. And I'll tell you why I disagree with that. Because your country of birth can do great things. And great things can be done in the name of your country of birth. And of course, you should be proud of it. You should be proud of your heritage, because you should also be proud of your family and your family line. Or maybe if they've not done some horrific things in the past, but let's not go there, shall we? Right. Our race has many superior qualities compared with others. Well, no. I disagree. I think anybody can be brilliant. I've always thought anybody can be brilliant. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm going to click agree here, and that's simply because it can be the case in opportunistic situations, okay? Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. I agree, because who sets international law? And there may be something so egregious that absolutely an intervention of that kind could be justified. Who knows? There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Well, I am overthinking this one. I'm going to agree with it, but I'll tell you why I'm overthinking it. And that is because propaganda is fed through entertainment, not information. Information and propaganda are two totally different things as far as I'm concerned. Let's go to the next page, 2 of 6. Now the economy. We're talking attitudes here, not the FTSE index. So, people are ultimately divided more by class than nationality. Absolutely agree. In fact, strongly agree. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Well, I kind of agree, because if inflation gets out of control, then mass unemployment inevitably follows. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. I think they require regulation, but maybe not because of environmental issues. Okay? From each according to his ability to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. Disagree? I disagree. That's commie talk, people. The freer the market, the freer the people. Strongly agree. Strongly agree. Nothing like a good old free market. The more the market is able to flow, the more ideas are able to come into the fore. Then you have the idea that a large corporation can create something, and then someone else can come along and create something that competes with it, that either is better than it or pushes the price of that other thing down in order to create competition. Yes, free markets, I'm all for it. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product. Disagree, sell what you like. If people want to buy it, they'll buy it. If people don't want to buy it, they won't buy it. I mean, let's face it, Dasani in America, Coca-Cola's drinking water is tap water, and says so on the damn bottle. Coca-Cola bottle tap water, sell it to the general public, and people buy it. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought or sold. Disagree. Actually, surprisingly. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. It depends. I'm going to disagree with that, because it depends what you mean by regrettable. It says don't overthink it, but I'm kind of overthinking it. I like you giving your reasoning on each question. Thank you, Robin. And good evening, Shalini, Dreadeye, and anybody else who's watching. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. Well, once again, I'm going to agree with it, but maybe yeah, I'm overthinking it here. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver profits to its shareholders. I agree. The primary reason that a company exists is to deliver profit to its shareholders. It's not there to create whatever you guys want it to create, and by you guys I mean the environmental activists, for example. It is there to make money. I mean, that's why they exist. The rich are too highly taxed. At this particular juncture, I disagree. If they tax them much more, then yeah. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. I agree. And I'll tell you why I agree, because unfortunately, this is a bit of a hard thing to say, but I don't believe that somebody else's labor is a human right. You can't force somebody to do something for you. If they go into the employ of a company or corporation like the National Health Service here in the UK, which is being sold off bit by bit, then possibly, because that is their job, but private medical providers who have gone through 7 to 10 years minimum of training should not be forced to provide you their labor. Now, if there are ways to get that healthcare without forcing someone else to provide you their labour, then perhaps. But we're not at that point yet. Med beds don't exist. Governments should penalise businesses that mislead the public. Ooh, I'm going to click agree, because this is why I say some regulation is important. Maybe not environmental regulation as it asks, but some. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. And once again, I kind of agree with that. Right, let's go to the next page. Page 3 of 6 now. Where's it gone? There it is. Now a look at some of your personal social values. Abortion, when a woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. I disagree, because basically the same argument about forcing labour. Whilst I have my personal opinions on abortion, and they may not line up with that, my personal opinions go as far as me and my family and my direct. I am not here. I'm not about forcing anybody else to make a decision on my behalf that I have nothing to do with. Yeah, I'm not. If people want to go through that and do that, they must live with the consequences either way of what that action is. It's not my place. All authority should be questioned. Abso-bloody-lutely. It should always be questioned. You definitely shouldn't be doing what authority tell you just because. Question why, question how, ask for evidence if these things are necessary. Absolutely. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I'm going to say disagree, because I think it could go for... Once again, it's so circumstantial. You don't know what the circumstance of an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth may be, because if it's an accident, then I say it's circumstantial. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theatres or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. I absolutely agree. If they are a for-profit business, they should run for profit, and if they are not making profit, then they need to make changes in order to make that profit. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Wow. I'm going to say agree. And I'll tell you why. Because I totally believe in the idea of being able to homeschool. They're making it harder and harder for parents to do it here in this country. And if parents have the ability, have the time, then they should be able to make that choice. I don't think compulsory attendance to a state school classroom, I don't think that should be a thing. All people have their rights, but it's better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. Strongly disagree. Come on, people. Absolutely not, right? I try to give the message that we do not discriminate here at Chasing Dissent. We do not care who you pray to, who you sleep with, what you look like. What we care about is your actions. And that's it. If your actions are good, then we are fine with you. We are happy with you. We treat you just like anybody else. And that applies to all people, all people. Oh, God damn it. Anyway, good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Now, I'm going to click agree. Though we've never done it, we are of a generation where it was done to us. And, sometimes a short, sharp shock. Sometimes a short, sharp shock was what we needed. It's what we needed. And what I will say is this, the government, as long as children aren't being physically harmed, as in, marks, bruises, whatever, I think the government should stay out of our bloody lives as parents. Now, like I said, never done it myself. Wife's never done it. We don't intend to do it. But people parent in their own way. And it's not for us to ask the government to get involved, as far as I'm concerned. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Oh, we all bloody did it, didn't we? We all did it. I mean, how long did we all keep that we were going out for a drink on the Friday night or smoking the old cigarettes? How long did we keep that from our parents? Absolutely natural. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offence. Strongly agree. As a disabled person whose own GP has told him to go and get it for pain reasons, I think if it can help, then people should be. Well, once again, it goes back to my own libertarian, well, I believe libertarian beliefs of the government should not have a right to tell you what can or cannot go in your body, or should not go in your body. I think your body is your own, and at the point that they can criminalize you placing something within your own body, then surely they own your body and you don't. That's just the way I look at it. Okay, the prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. Yes, I agree. Because the prime function of schooling should not be to indoctrinate our children with far left ideology. And that appears to be what's happening as we speak. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Strongly disagree. I think absolutely the government has absolutely no say in what people should be able to do with their own body. And if that ends up being reproduction, absolutely. I mean, wow. What even is that? That's like eugenics if they tried to do that. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. I disagree. I disagree. Because it depends who the discipline is coming from, for what reason that discipline is coming, because children can be unjustly disciplined by like a teacher that doesn't like them, for example. So yeah, I completely disagree there. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. I'm going to lean to disagree. And I'll tell you why. Because I have seen savagery. I have seen video evidence of savagery. And it's all I could call it. And there is civilization. And there are civilized people. Now, yes, it could fall into the category of different cultures. But if that different culture acts savagely, then surely, I don't know. I'm going to click disagree here. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not accept society's support. Once again, I disagree because you don't know what is going on. When you say able to work, what do you mean? I mean, people could be physically, unlike myself, but people could be physically able, but they could have schizophrenia, they could have severe depression. I think it goes a lot deeper than looking at someone's ability to do something. You don't know what's going on in someone's life. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. That's what I do. So I'm going to say agree, because that's what I do. But I'm not going to extol that, and I'm not going to say to you people, you go and do that. You need to deal with things that are troubling you in your own way. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. I disagree. I think if they go to a country and they love where they live and they want to be part of that culture and they want to immerse themselves, absolutely they can be. I think not doing so is a choice. It's a choice. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for us all. Disagree. Because what's good for the most successful corporations is what's good for the most successful corporations. And those successful corporations could be Big Pharma. Anyway, let's move on. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. I actually agree there. I think that once again it falls back down to the same argument with the museums. If they're a for-profit TV company, they should be going out and doing things for profit. If the government step in, intervene, and give them money, then you can never, ever, ever trust that they will be impartial. Next page. We have to scroll down again. And how you see wider society. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counter-terrorism. I actually agree with that statement. And it's not just in the name of counter-terrorism. It's in the name of tolerance. Tolerance. And to tolerate something. If you actually think about that word for a minute, to tolerate. It's to put up with. It's not to live in harmony with. It's not to accept. It's not to take on board. It is to put up with something. And we shouldn't be being taught to tolerate intolerance. And a lot of people and things that we are told to tolerate are and is intolerant in itself. But that's just my thoughts. Anyway, a significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments and delay progress in a democratic political system. I'm gonna disagree, because whilst it kind of may be true, a one-party state is just a dictatorship. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. Everybody needs to be worried about the ability to encroach on your own privacy, because you don't know how far that goes. Just now in Scotland, just 8 days ago, they have enacted a law that essentially criminalises you and offers you up to 7 years in prison for telling a bit of a spicy joke, for quote unquote discriminating. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, my friends, and that's what's happening here. Okay, let's move on. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Yes, I think so. And now, that might shock somebody. That might shock some people. But yes, I think it could well be. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. Strongly disagree. I think people are able to work out what's right, what's wrong, and what's good and what's bad for themselves. I don't think they need to be directed, and I don't think they need to be told what to do, where to go, who to see, how to think. Whew. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Strongly agree. It's not fucking art. Sorry, that will be my only F-bomb. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. I disagree. I think, well, kind of depends on the circumstances, I guess. I'm not sure you can rehabilitate a child murderer. Just my opinion. It's a waste of time to try and rehabilitate some criminals, I agree, because some people are just without help, and they're not going to change. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. I disagree. And I'll tell you why I disagree. Because writing and art can be business within itself, first and foremost. But secondly, it is what uplifts us. I mean, for me, music is the food of life. And without it, I would be even more of a depressed wreck than I already am. So, if music be the food of life, let's see. And if you've not subscribed to the second channel yet, The Real Review UK, you probably should, because in just 30 minutes time, you need to become a member for 99p a month for this, by the way. We will be live with some music, so come and join us over there if you'd like. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Disagree. People should be free to be whatever they want to be within reason. Like, I don't want you to go and become Jeffrey Dahmer. Just say it. Almost all politicians promise economic growth, but we should heed the warning of climate science that growth is detrimental to our efforts to curb global warming. I'm not going to say my answer to this one out loud. You can just see it on screen. Making the peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Disagree. It shows maturity to continually question the establishment. You must question it. If you got through that okay, you'll find these propositions on religion a breeze. Astrology accurately explains many things. Absolutely not. You cannot be moral without being religious. Absolutely not. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. I absolutely disagree with that. I think if a social safety net can exist, I think it should. Some people are naturally unlucky. Yep, that's something I agree with. And it is important that my child's school instills religious values. Strongly disagree. People need to be able to choose their own religion. Finally, a look at sex. Ooh. We're getting spicy now. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Well, strongly disagree. People should be able to do what they want to their bodies. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Now, I agree they should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Many people who watch this will disagree with me on that. I don't care. That's just we're looking at my values here to see. Remember, this is to see if I am still left wing, and because if you miss the intro, I don't recognise what we're calling the left now. I don't. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. Nick will hate me for this one, but yes, I agree. Once again, if consenting adults have decided to produce something and they want to disseminate it or sell it, then consenting adults should be allowed to watch it. Okay? What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. Absolutely, it's no business of the state. How can it be the business of the state? No one can feel naturally homosexual. Well, I disagree with that statement. And these days, openness about sex has gone too far. That I kind of agree with. I don't think we should be pushing it on children. Now, I'm going to make myself big screen again. And I'm going to click the now let's see where you stand button. We're going to see. Well. I'm definitely not a conservative. Definitely not a conservative. Libertarian, folks. Still on the left. Libertarian. Nevertheless, the more nationalistic and authoritarian a party or individual is, the more right-wing they're still labelled. This, of course, is absurd. Taken to its logical conclusion, it means that the further left a country sits, the more socially liberal its attitudes are. On that basis, North Korea must be a shining model of human rights and social reforms. Conversely, a country may be right-wing, i.e. libertarian in its economics, and authoritarian at the same time. Singapore is a perfect example. This is where some of them sit. So my political compass, okay. I have moved slightly right of centre. I used to sit in this quadrant here. I've now moved to this quadrant here. I have moved a tiny, tiny bit. I have shifted. Apparently, I am absolutely tiny bit right of centre. Classical liberal. Libertarian. And you know what? I don't think that this moving of one quadrant, I don't think that that really shows much of a difference. I think, essentially, I've moved one little square. And that tells me that my attitudes have not changed in years, really. Some things maybe, like Yahoo YouTuber says, only when it comes to the economy. Hello, Natalie's son, by the way. Only when it comes to the economy. So, socially, still very much liberal. John says, send me the link and I'll do it. I will do so. I will do so. But this tells me that, yes, whilst I might have moved one little notch to the right of the little line, like I said, that not much has changed. Not much has changed. My views are still pretty much the same. John, I don't think you could do it live on this stream. You'd have to start another one if you were to do it. But if you would like to do it, I will send you the link once the show hath concluded. Or I can just put it in the live chat now, actually. Here we go. Let me just copy this. See? I can do this. There we go. It's in the live chat, people. It's in the live chat. So, what do you think about that then? Do you think that the world is going mad? Because my views have pretty much stayed the same. Like I say, I've moved one notch to the right. So my views have pretty much stayed the same, but what's supposed to constitute the left has disappeared. It doesn't, I don't recognize it. I do not recognize it. And I do not recognize this mainstreaming of these extreme, and they are extreme, authoritarian ideologies. I think you all know what I'm talking about. I don't have to name them. But I'm going to leave this one exactly where it needs to be. And just for the live viewers right now, if you are a subscriber on the second channel, The Real Review UK, then please head over there at 9 o'clock and consider becoming a channel member from just 99p a month to join us for a members only live stream. Once again, there'll be music and there'll be laughter and there'll be fun and there'll be joy. And going back to that question about art and music, yes, of course, it's extremely important. Lifting spirits, having a laugh. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do. And you can also become a member here and become an asylum seeker of our fictional country of Veradora from just 99p a month here as well. So, I am going to get out of here. I'm going to leave you guys wanting, if you will, and say, it's been great.